Hi, everybody. My name is Bettina Mensch, and I am so glad that you're here today. And I'm going to be talking with you about our immune health because that seems to be on everybody's minds. Wouldn't you agree? And essential oils. We're going to talk about that. And I just want to preface it by saying, this 18 months has been really, really challenging for everybody on the planet. And there's just so much conflict in the world right now, conflict on just about any topic that you can imagine. And we all would like for a more peaceful world. And in order to have a more peaceful world on the outside, we kind of have to create a peaceful world on the inside. And that's a bit of a challenge in itself these days. And when we are feeling not so calm about the world, it's sometimes really easy to get into a situation where you feel like I'm powerless. I can't control what's going on around me. And that can really undermine our immune system too. So part of what I want to talk about today is to transform those feelings, perhaps of feeling powerless or uncontrolled with what's going on, and transform that into taking control of what we can control, which is ourselves, our bodies, our minds, and our spirits. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So our immune health is the number one important priority right now during, well, always, but in particular with what's going on with the pandemic, because again, I don't know about anybody else, but there's a lot of fear around it. Oh my gosh, should I get near people? Should I wear a mask? Should I not wear a mask? Are people going to hate me if I wear a mask? Are they going to hate me if I don't wear a mask? There's so much turmoil around it that again can undermine the immune system. So we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about why essential oils. For those of you who have been here before when I've talked, it's a refresher, but for those of you who are new to essential oils, they are the plant essence. They're the liquid that comes from plants. The plants use the oil to guard itself against things like bugs and fungus and bacteria that might kill it. And also they use the beautiful aroma for propagation. And for us humans, when we use essential oils, whether we use them on the body, in the air, or in our bodies, they are by their very nature antiviral. That's an important one, antiviral against viruses. They are antifungal and they're antibacterial. And they have huge impacts to the body, physically, mentally, and emotionally. They come from nature, they're plants, they're nature's medicine. So they're natural, they're safe, they're pure, and they don't have side effects like medications do. So this is a really important way that you can address some of your everyday issues in a really healthy way. So here are some ways that you can really wreck your immune system. So we're going to talk about the bad stuff that you can do that will really undo your immune system. And that's to eat a crappy diet. I think we all know what a crappy diet is. And if you don't, then come talk to me. I'll tell you what's a crappy diet. But when you eat poorly, there's no fuel for your body. It doesn't have any nourishment for the cells. So that's one way. You cannot get enough sleep. Well, many of us don't get a lot of sleep all the time, but to consistently not get sleep really undermines the immune system because our bodies actually create cytokines while we're sleeping, and they are the things that help to battle pathogens in the body. So you don't get enough sleep, you're not really creating enough cytokines to help with the body. You exercise rarely. Now, exercise doesn't have to mean going out and doing a marathon, but it does mean getting outside and breathing some fresh air and looking at nature and moving the body. You can also weaken the immune system by never taking vitamins and minerals, which are important because not really all of the food that we eat has a lot of nutrition in it, unless you are a person who really invests the time and energy and wallet to have organic food as much as possible. That's really important. And if you smoke and drink, I know I'll just raise my hand to having had more wine this year than probably is absolutely, yeah, not totally beneficial, but this is what happens. To be unhappy and worried all the time, this really depresses the immune system, and to feel stressed all the time. We all have some stress in our lives, but this has been a really stressful year. So that's the way that you can weaken the immune system. Oh, and surround yourself with toxicity. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a second. I have this quote on my refrigerator. I really love it. Take care of your body. It's the only place you have to live. Well, when you think about that, that's really pretty impactful. That's pretty simple to understand. If you don't take care of yourself, nobody else is going to do it for you. And this is the only place you've got right here. This is it. It's the only body you get, and it's the only place you have to live. So let's talk about how we can take care of ourselves. This is a little wellness pyramid, and we're going to talk about the various aspects of this wellness pyramid and what that really means when it comes to our immune strength. The first part is eating right. So let's just talk about eating right for a second. The GI tract is the part of the body that begins at the mouth and winds its way all the way through the body until it comes out the back end. That is the GI tract, also known as the gastrointestinal tract, also known as the gut. Sometimes we refer to our gut health. So it is where, sometimes maybe you think about, well, where does my immune system live? Where is that system? And maybe it's just kind of this vague idea about where the immune system lives, but it is in the gut. That's where you can see 80% of the body's immune function is in the gut. And that's because there is this immune tissue in the gut called Peyer's patch, P-E-Y-E-R''S, Peyer's patch. And these are little immune cells that line the small intestine in particular. And their job, the Peyer's patch, their job is to identify the bad bacteria that is living there. And in response to detecting that, it starts to create the antibodies that will fight that pathogen. So we need to take care of our gut health because that is really where the immune strength comes from. In addition to that, we have trillions of bacteria in our body that are, sometimes they're bad bacteria and mostly they're good bacteria if we feed it right. And those are responsible for helping us to create white blood cells that will again help us to stay healthy. So it's important that we take care of that GI tract to make sure that we've got good digestive health, but also that we've got immune strength. Isn't it amazing to think that if you were to undo all of your intestines and lie them down, that they would be equivalent to the size of a tennis court? There's a lot packed into this little area. So what does it mean to eat right? So it means to eat this isn't going to be new news to you. You just have to actually say to yourself, I am in control. I can take some steps. So eating a good diet means that you're eating fresh fruits and vegetables, that you're not eating a lot of red meat. Red meat is hard to process. It is eating primarily a lot of a creature's fear hormones from when they were processed. You're eating antibiotics that they probably were fed, unless you're really going out of your way to eat grass-fed organic meats. You're probably eating a lot of antibiotics, which is really hard for the body to get rid of. Antibiotics, they actually kill the good bacteria in the body. When you take an antibiotic when you're ill, it's very indiscriminate. It doesn't know, oh, I'm only going to go kill the bad bacteria. It kills all the bacteria. So if you're eating an animal that has been raised with antibiotics, then you're eating that and you're also not helping your gut health. Not eating a lot of saturated fats, which hinder white cell production. So doTERRA does have two products that are interesting to think about. One is called TerraZyme, which is 10 whole food enzymes that help you to break down the food that you are ingesting, and it helps for nutrition to the cells. And I should mention doTERRA because doTERRA is the essential oil company that I believe in, that I trust in, that I've been with for the last 12 years. They also have something called PB Assist, which is probiotics. Probiotics, and it's also a prebiotic. So a prebiotic feeds the body so that when it's feeding the body so that there's a great growth ground for the biome in the body, the microbiome, which is our area where we're having all the good bacteria that are growing. And it's a probiotic, so it is feeding the good, healthy bacteria in the body. Really something to think about. If you haven't heard about probiotics before or prebiotics, do talk to me. I'll be happy to give you some info on that. But that's one way of helping to cultivate good biome in the body. doTERRA also has a fantastic nutrition line that is a cellular vitality complex. It's got the omega 3, 6, and 9s, which are very important, particularly for women. The omega fatty acids are great for skin, for hair, for hormone development, and also vitamins and minerals. There's a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you take a vitamin supplement right now, I suggest that you compare that to what doTERRA offers in the way of a full complex. If you don't take a supplement, you really might want to think about it. One last comment about that, doTERRA had a clinical trial done on their lifelong vitality pack. And as you can see at the bottom, the participants said that they had, after just 2 months of taking it, they had more mental clarity, energy, motivation, control, balance, and happiness. And they had less back pain, muscle pain, colds and flu, anxiety, frustration, and irritation. These are all really helpful things to help with the body to keep it calm and healthy. Another important thing that we need to do is drink enough water. I am a terrible water drinker personally. I'm a camel. And when you teach your body to not drink a lot of water, it doesn't ask you to drink water. It becomes unthirsty. And that's a terrible way to be. So I've really been working hard recently on making sure that actually I get at least 10 glasses of water a day. And I'm doing a great job. Yes, it really helps with peeing a lot. It really gets you cleaned out. But it's so important for lubricating the joints and keeping the digestive tract healthy. So if you are not a good water drinker either, doTERRA has an essential oil called Slim and Sassy. And not only does it taste good in water, because maybe it makes your water taste a little more interesting to you, but it's also a metabolic blend that helps to curb sugar cravings and to help with suppressing the appetite. So that's a really simple thing to do. You can put a couple of drops into water and drink it throughout the day. And some people have even had good impact by putting it in a diffuser because what you breathe in has an impact on the brain. So from the standpoint of helping to curb appetite, it can work by diffusing it as well. I have some Slim and Sassy here if anybody wants to try some in their water. And you can see that it's a blend of lemon, wild orange, lime, peppermint, grapefruit. And it's back in the day when I remember my mom, the grapefruit diet was very, very popular. And that's for a reason. Grapefruit is a great cleanser and it's a great appetite suppressant. So drinking plenty of water, super important. So then the next part of our wellness pyramid is exercise. And again, the ideal is exercising 30 minutes a day. That doesn't mean that you have to do something that you don't like to do, because guess what? If you don't like it, you won't do it. So if you do enjoy it, then go out for a walk, take your dog for a walk, take your kid for a walk, take yourself for a walk. Take a friend for a walk. That has been so much fun for me. I've been calling up friends and saying, do you want to just go for a walk? And it's been a way to get back together again with people and to feel comfortable because I'm not in a closed-in environment with 1,000 people. So that's really important. Now, one of the ways that you can increase your energy and also your oxygen is to use the essential oil of peppermint, which I'm going to pass around, and I just invite you to open it up, and you can just, you don't have to shake the bottle. All you have to do is just tip it, and it will drop a drop into your hands, a drop of peppermint in the hands. You rub them together, take a deep breath. It opens up the lungs. It helps with exercise. It helps with energy. You can rub the rest on the back of your neck. It also is fantastic for if you have hot flashes, you can put a little drop of peppermint and rub it on the back of your neck. These are ingestible essential oils. The bottles have a supplement fact box on them. I'm not getting rid of my friends. And you can just put a little bit on your tongue and put it in your mouth. It's great breath freshening. You can put it in your water and drink it. You can rub a little on your temples if you're a person who has headaches. You can breathe it in and it helps with allergies and it helps with feeling congested. Does everybody feels how nice and cool that is? Yeah. So it's a fantastic, I keep a bottle in my purse. So if I feel tired, I can just breathe in some peppermint and not go get another cup of coffee, which just kind of puts you up and then puts you down or gives you the jitters. But this is a great way to open up the lungs, and it's a great way to help with when you want to get a little exercise. I like to cycle, and it's hot out right now, and so I usually put a little bit under my nose before I go cycling. And I'll halfway point, I will put a little on the back of my neck and rev myself back up, because I usually go about 40 to 50 miles on Sundays, and at like mile 30, it's not as fun as it was when I started out. So do what you like. Go for a walk, go for a jog, go do meditation, go do yoga, do something, move your body so your body is getting some kind of movement. When we sit inside all day long, it really weighs down on the emotional body too. So here you have that regular aerobic exercise appears to help your body fight illness caused by viruses and bacteria. That's in part because it helps blood get around your body more efficiently, which means germ-fighting substances get where they need to go. So when you move, you're helping your body to kill germs. Important. The next one is wellness helps to get rest and managing your stress. So are you the 1 in 3 people who get less than 7 hours of sleep a night? Yeah. Or are you like me that you wake up every night at the exact same time, like 3 o'clock? What? What is it about 3 o'clock? What is it? But and then it's when your brain starts and your brain goes. So it's really hard to not get enough sleep. But there are some really great ideas that you can employ if you're a person who has difficulty sleeping. And that is to turn off technology at least an hour before you go to bed. Don't get into bed with your phone and start looking at cute dog videos and kitty cat videos. So turn off the technology, actually turn the lights down in your house a little to signal the brain that it's time to start making that serotonin in the brain, the melatonin in the brain. You can also think about taking a nice warm shower and using something like lavender essential oil, either in the shower, in the bath, making a little spray bottle and spritzing your linens. And you can also put it into the diffuser. If you're not familiar with what a diffuser is, this diffuser has a little bit of water in it, and it's putting up a mist, if you can see it. I'll just pull the cord out. Yeah, there's the mist. So the mist goes up in the air and it stays up in the air for hours. And it's a great way to just breathe in an aroma that really helps you to relax. It does not make your tables wet. It doesn't put down water on the table. It just puts it up in the air. And I'm going to pass around the lavender. You all just decide if you want to put it on, if you just want to smell it. I'll just put it back here and pass it around. But you can usually put it right on top of the peppermint and it will smell great. And I want to tell you something about the lavender and doTERRA. A study was just published this year, and it's a very unique and exciting study. Never before in the history of essential oils has any company attempted to prove that essential oils are efficacious and that they can be considered of a pharmaceutical grade. So what does pharmaceutical grade mean? If anybody in here takes a prescription medication, when you go to the pharmacy and you pick up that prescription, you expect that to be exactly the same every single time. Imagine if you were taking birth control and kind of one day was the milligrams you thought it was going to be and another day it wasn't. It doesn't work that way. The FDA requires that manufacturers have a 5% leeway in the manufacture of any pharmaceutical product. So if it's a 200 milligram medication that you're getting, it could be either 180 milligrams, and it can be as much as 210 milligrams to get to that 200 milligram part. It has to be within that window, or it cannot be considered pharmaceutical grade. It can't be sold to you because people who have heart medications. It's got to be what it needs to be. Well, doTERRA worked with the University of Mississippi's Pharmacology School, and they proved that over more than 130 batches of doTERRA's essential oil over a 3-year period, that doTERRA's deviation from the constituents that are in lavender that create the calming effect, that create the therapeutic effect of that essential oil are less than 2% of a variation of those constituents. 5% is the rule for pharmaceutical medications. doTERRA got to 2%. No other essential oil company in the world has attempted to show that they are consistent, because this is Mother Nature. This isn't a synthetic drug being compounded into a pill. This is Mother Nature that's growing plants that have different soils. They come from different parts of the world. There's different weather conditions. But doTERRA has worked with numerous exclusive relationships with growers in places like Bulgaria and France, where they have so many different farmers that they're working with that they can make sure in the testing process that those constituents are being met every single time. I hope that gives you a little bit of an understanding that this is not the same kind of essential oil that you would get when you go to Whole Foods, when you go to Bed Bath and Beyond. They are not interested in trying to be consistent or pure. They say they are, but they are not testing out that way. So doTERRA takes a huge portion of their science, their time. They've got a big medical board, they've got a big scientific board. And this particular study was published this year in the Journal of Pharmaceutical and Biomedical Analysis, not an essential oil publication. So this is a very big deal, and I hope that that means something to you. So you can use lavender that I passed around. Hopefully you can smell how beautiful that is in the ways that I was talking about. You could put it onto your body. You can put it into a warm bath. And just to tell you, why would it help with sleep? Why would it help with emotions? It's because whenever we breathe in, it goes right up through our nasal passage and it goes right to the parts of the brain in the hippocampus that are responsible for emotions and for memory. As a result of that, I'm working with 3 different hospitals that are using essential oils on their patients. Another big milestone for doTERRA. One of the hospitals is a dementia hospital, the state hospital, and they are using the lavender, diffusing it, and they have seen a marked reduction in the number of aggressive behaviors that are occurring in that ward just by diffusing the oils. So lavender is a very powerful oil, and it's one that can really help you with your emotions. It's also great for all things calming. It can calm the skin. It can help if you burn your hand in the oven. It can help with bee stings and bug bites. It can help with cuts and scratches. You can put it right onto a wound if there's a scrape involved. So lavender is all things calming. Managing stress. I'm going to pass it around. I have just one bottle of this. And I think, yeah.
Yeah, can you use it in the kids' room?
Use it in the what, the kids?
Kids' room.
Yes. Yes. It's a great question. I'm glad that, how old are the kids? Okay, so they would be able to use it, what we call neat, which is without any kind of dilution. But if there was a little baby, then you would want to dilute essential oils with a carrier oil like jojoba oil, or even if there's nothing else that you could dilute it with, you could use vegetable oil from your kitchen. You just want to use maybe the size of a dime of a carrier oil and then a drop of the lavender. But for kids that are older, they can really tolerate a drop neat, or you can use a carrier oil to spread it further. Are you thinking to put it on their body somewhere?
No, diffuser.
Diffuser.
Yeah.
Oh, a diffuser anybody can really tolerate. A baby can tolerate diffusion. It's really just putting it onto the skin that it would make a difference. But absolutely, your kids would fall asleep easily. Yeah. And this one is called Balance. And this is a beautiful oil. It does what it says it does. Again, you can just smell it. I'll keep the cap. But this is a beautiful combination of spruce, cold wood, frankincense, blue tansy, blue chamomile, osmanthus, and a touch of fractionated coconut oil. This is a great one for reducing stress. It's fabulous in a diffuser. It's great to put a couple of drops on. If you've already got a bunch of oil in your hands, but you want to smell it, put it somewhere else. Put it on the back of your arm, on the back of your hand where you can smell it. It's a beautiful, relaxing oil. I didn't have to. I had the opportunity to give a talk to 1,200 people, and I was losing my mind before I went up on the stage. And I used that a lot. I had handfuls of it. I was rubbing it on, and oh please, just let me calm down here. So it's really a great calming, grounding oil, and it has a lot of tree oils: whole wood, frankincense, in particular spruce. When you think about a tree and how a tree puts roots down into the ground and it has big branches that go out, and animals will circle under the branches and sleep at night, and they get the protection of big branches and the calming impact of the beautiful pine smell if you've ever walked in the pine forest. That's the same thing that this combination of oils does. It really helps you to ground, put your roots down, put yourself in a place of calm. So that's a beautiful one for managing stress, and there's many others. So Tara has a lot of emotional wellness oils. And again, if we're under stress, we are weakening the immune system. You just can't wear out the adrenal glands like that. And I know we've all been there, where you just think, I just can't take another minute of this. It's just too much. There's too much work, there's too much stress, there's too much whatever it is. And I'll just share, I know that this year has been really hard on a lot of people for a lot of reasons. And grief is another really hard one to deal with the immune system. And I know that my family is not alone in having really had some really painful experiences this past year, and a lot of grief, and it's hard to process grief. So just know that this is, again, it's not just about stress, but it's stressful feelings. It's very deep emotional feelings that we really want to try to work on, so that we're not staying in that place where it's just weakening the body all the time and opening you up for an illness that you just don't want. So the next one is reducing the toxic load. One way of doing that is to, for instance, use lemon essential oil, which again, I'll pass around. You're welcome to put on. You guys are getting this here. Oh, it's not nice. We're probably passing the table.
Oh, yeah, well, listen, yeah, I've got them all. Yeah,
So lemon is just a beautiful aroma. It's very fresh and clean. It is one that can be taken internally. You can drink it in water. It's really great for helping the body to remove toxins from the body. It's wonderful to wash your vegetables in. And my favorite salad dressing is just olive oil and a couple of drops of lemon essential oil. And you might say, well, why not just use the juice of a lemon, which you certainly can. But the essential oil is much more potent than either the juice or a dry herb. The oil is very potent and effective and therapeutic. So that's why I like to use it. So that's a great one that you can use for cleansing. And doTERRA has created products that are really important to me to think about one day, and I just challenge you to do the same thing. Take a look at the products that you put on your body every day, starting with the toothpaste and the deodorant and the body lotion and the hairspray, the shampoo, whatever it is that you put on in the course of a morning just to get out of the house, and count the number of ingredients that are on that label, most of which you won't even know what they are. I counted mine up a couple of months ago. There were like 800 ingredients just to get up in the morning and get out the door. Well, when you are putting that on your body, it's going in your body. There's no way it can't. That's what it does. So think about how can you reduce the toxic load in your home, even starting with something as simple as what's under your sink. And are you using things like Clorox that like burn your brain? and how toxic is the stuff that you use to get the mold off the walls of your shower. And ask yourself if this is really the way that I want to do this. Is there another way that I can approach this? And I've been really working hard in my own home, just taking one thing at a time, even down to things like laundry detergent in a big plastic jug that is going to stay in this planet, in the landfill, for beyond your great-great-grandchildren. That plastic jug is going to live there. And it's what's wrecking our planet. It's what's creating these greenhouse gases. So even looking at that and saying, what can I replace this with? Why does it have to be in a big plastic jug? What can I use that's different than that? So I'm just taking one thing at a time and asking myself, what can I do to reduce the packaging? What can I do to reduce the toxins that I'm breathing in, that everybody in my family is breathing in, that my cats are breathing in? What can I change up? So I just challenge you to think about that. So doTERRA is working very hard to create products like shampoos and conditioner and skincare lines. And on the right-hand side, they just now are coming out with this line that they call Abode, which is very clean. It's for cleaning the household. It's a spray for cleansing tabletops. There's a laundry soap. There's a dish soap. There's a laundry pod. So they're working very hard to create sustainable packaging and to get rid of plastics and to get rid of unnecessary packaging. So that's another thing that you might be interested in learning about. But do think about what can you do in your own home. Don't get overwhelmed by it because it's easy. When you start to add up what you have in your household, just start in your medicine cabinet. What's in your medicine cabinet that you could maybe think about changing up to something else? And before you grab a plastic bottle off the shelf, is it offered in some other way? Is it offered in a recyclable can instead of a plastic bottle? And not using plastic bags and not buying Mylar balloons that go up into the atmosphere and stay forever. So just try thinking about those types of things. Here's another thing I want to say about toxins in your life, and that includes toxic people who bring you down, who do have nothing to say to you but ugliness, toxic social media where people are fighting and carping at each other, and you ask a simple question. I belong to a group called Next Door. It's supposed to be a neighborhood thing where you say, oh, who would you recommend for a veterinarian? Oh my gosh, it brings out the haters in a second and a half. What's wrong with you that you don't know about a veterinarian? It's hateful. It makes me not want to be on those kinds of social media. So, and I've got dear friends who are just toxic, who say terrible, hateful, political bashing. What for? It doesn't convince anybody. It convinces the people who already feel the same way you do. So what's the point? So think about the toxic relationships in your life and seeing if there's a way that you can help bring peace to that relationship by diverting the conversation, or maybe it's just not the right relationship. Think about the toxic thoughts we have every day. And that's not even about the pandemic. It's just things like, oh, I'm so stupid. Those are toxic thoughts. Our body gets it. Our body hears it. And it, again, depresses the immune system when we're mean to ourselves, when we think that we're not good enough. Oh, look at this beautiful message on Instagram. This person has such a great life. They're always going somewhere fantastic. Well, guess what? That was like 2 pictures. And the rest of their life is just like ours. So don't believe that everybody has this fabulous life and you don't, and you haven't achieved, or whatever it is that you tell yourself, because we all do it to ourselves. There isn't a person on the planet, no matter how successful, doesn't have unkind thoughts about themselves. So try to catch yourself about toxic thinking, and certainly toxic media. All of those toxins really weigh us down, again, impact the immune system. So then we get toward the top of the pyramid, and we're talking about preventive self-care. So these are things like disinfecting surfaces. I'm going to pass around doTERRA's On Guard. This is their super duper germ killer. And it's really great for diffusing. It is great for taking internally when you feel like you've got something coming on. I love the diffuser. Actually, it's what's diffusing in the diffuser right now. And you can see it's wild orange, cinnamon, clove, rosemary, and eucalyptus. You can put it into a spray bottle and spritz things, which is really fantastic to be able to do that. So it's a great way to disinfect surfaces in a completely natural way. There's nothing else in that bottle except for the essential oils of wild orange, cinnamon, clove, rosemary, and eucalyptus. Nothing else. It's not cut with anything. There's nothing added to it. There's no alcohol. There's nothing in it. So it's completely natural and a beautiful way to change the germ level in your household. My diffuser is running next to my front door, so when anybody comes in, they're gonna walk through a wall of On Guard first. And get a little detox before they come in there. Also, doTERRA has put the On Guard into a hand sanitizing mist, which is 99% germ killing and labeled that way. And they put a little apple pectin extract in there so that it is not that drying sensation that you get a lot of other hand sanitizers. Also, doTERRA has created the same On Guard into a capsule or a soft gel that a capsule, I should say capsule. That is really great if you feel something coming on. You just pop 2 of them, and if I feel anything coming on, I pop 2 about every 3 to 4 hours. And honestly, I have nothing in my medicine cabinet. I don't have aspirin, I don't have cough syrup, I don't have anything, even when I don't have it. What I have are essential oils. And knock on wood, I haven't had any kind of an illness in about 4 or 5 years. I better really knock on some wood. I don't want to bring anything to me. It worked really well so far. And then there's proactive healthcare, because from the red line down, that's lifestyle, about toxic load and rest and exercise and eating. That's about lifestyle that you create, that you choose. And then the purple going up, those are self-care and then proactive healthcare. So obviously, if you break your arm, you're going to go find a doctor to help you out with that. So that's proactive healthcare. And in these days of worrying about COVID, it's kind of like, do you have a plan in mind that if you suddenly find that you have lost your sense of taste and you know what's going on, do you have a plan in mind? A lot of people have a plan as far as like, okay, I'm going off to this room and the rest of the family's going to be over here, and trying to have a plan about what am I going to do? What do I have on hand that's going to help me to recover from this? So that's what proactive healthcare is. So that's what the lifestyle pyramid is all about. That's how you can take care of your own wellness by being proactive about taking care of your immune health. It isn't a joke. The only person who can take care of their immune system is you. Nobody else can do it for you. You have to really pay attention to it, particularly now. We get really used to, oh, I've got a cold or I got the flu, and it seems kind of like, oh, it's no big deal because I'm going to get over it. Well, a lot of people haven't gotten over this. And so this is really the time to just say, what can I do to add to my immune health now? I can do this. It's not requiring you to make massive changes. It's just requiring you to pay a little bit of attention to what can I do to take care of myself. This is really an important time. If this is all a little bit like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to use essential oils, I don't know what to do about that. There are some really great reference books. Here's one that's super simple. It's called the Modern Essentials book. And it lets you go in here and alphabetically look up a health concern and tell you what, well, here's one, bloating. So it tells you what essential oils are good for bloating. And so it makes it really easy for you to understand what oil would be beneficial. And then that makes it super simple to feel empowered. And speaking of empowered, this is a great time to think about natural solutions to empower yourself, to take care of yourself in a natural way. And doTERRA's essential oils are certified pure tested grade. They're pure, they're potent, they're effective. They're good for you, they're good for the planet. And I would love to help you to figure out what is best for you and your family. So do come ask me and let me help you match up the perfect essential oils for your scenario. And Judy is a big lover of the essential oils, so she's a great reference point too. She uses as many as I do. So she's a great person to talk with and have her tell you her experiences with using oils. I hope this has been beneficial to you. And now, if everybody has put a little something into the basket over there, because you're going to draw.
I do want to find out how many online people we have. I'm going to put some online people in
That's
the
a great
drawing.
idea.
Okay, so
What an awesome
let's see if
idea.
we have online.
Okay, so who has the balance and the limit? Oh, awesome. Oh, thank you.
Okay, we're gonna put Debbie Tawney, who's online in the drawing,
Awesome.
along with I think it's Greg Olson, I'm gonna say. And then Diane's also watching, but she's not eligible as a wife. So
Okay.
don't worry, I give her some oils every time.
All right, are you going to draw the names?
No, you are.
Oh, I am, okay. Oh, because you might get accused of, you know.
Oh, favoritism, who knows? Well, wait 1 second, 'cause I want to also mention that before you leave, we have the rollers over here. We have everything set up so you can make at least one roller. And there's recipes, and we've already preloaded them with fractionated coconut oil, Julie and I. And then you'll pick a recipe, and all you do is add according how many drops of the recipe to make your own oil to take home. Sadly, though, I did not remember to bring labels, so you have to remember what it is. So, okay.
Isn't that awesome that Kim has made that nice little DIY for you?
Okay, so tell us what the first prize is gonna be for the first. You
Okay,
have lots of prizes, by the way.
awesome. Okay, so we have
I'll
got,
fix them up.
okay, we've got an On Guard hand sanitizing mist. And that is going to Lorena.
Oh,
Yay!
Winner.
Thank
Okay.
And where is my pen? Because I'm going to be able to send some info. Who has a
Oh,
pen?
we have a pen.
You would think that I would have remembered at least that. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and that'll be good for me to know. And I'm gonna take the winners who are here. I'm gonna take a little picture of you afterwards.
Let me just say we've got a lot of On Guard going on here
Keep that
because
clapping.
we want people to have some, the super duper germ killers. Okay, here we go.
What's this for?
This is for an On Guard oil. This is 100% pure oil, and that's going to Denise.
Here, let me get a quick picture of your prize.
That's a great idea. And Denise, you're going to need an essential or a diffuser to go with that. You do? Perfect. Awesome. All righty, now we're going to go with another On Guard hand spray, and that is going to Judy Wendorf.
Okay.
I said you would throw me off.
I know. Let me. Well, I'm gonna wait for the next prize winner.
You never have too much. Never can have too much.
You should see my cabinet.
Okay, she has an impressive. Okay, Joanna is getting an On Guard hand spray.
Woohoo! Okay, but Joanna, you and Judy, let me get a picture.
All righty. And now we have an On Guard roller. It's called Touch. And that means that it has a roller top on it, so you can just roll it right onto the skin. If it is kind of spicy, if you find it a little spicy, you can roll it onto the bottoms of the feet because it's got cinnamon in it, it's got clove in it. And you could also roll it on the spine. There's different ways that you can use it. So Greg Olson
Yay.
is.
Oh.
Yes. Greg, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, great.
Awesome.
And
I love when the online people get in on the action.
if Greg wants to provide an email address or you maybe.
I have his
then
email
I can
address.
send them some info on how. to
Yes,
use it.
happy to do that.
Okay, all right, here we go with another.
Send me a selfie, Greg.
Another On Guard hand spray
Okay, thanks.
going to Yuritsa.
All right. Hang on, I'll get the next winner.
All right, another On Guard spray is going to Christina Valdez.
Well, that worked out well.
And here's another roller that is going to Linda Lang.
Unguard roller.
All righty, another spray is going to Debbie Tawny.
Oh, and an online.
Oh, nice.
Wow, the two online people both won something. Pay to pay attention.
Was that the spray or the roller?
That was the spray.
Okay,
Greg won the roller. Debbie won the spray.
awesome. All righty, now here comes a really great one from Kim Kent, and that is a diffuser.
A little one, just for a little area.
Okay, here comes Jenny Dugard. Do you have oil to go in there? Awesome. Okay, folks, that is all of the prizes for today.